Hey, it's Meg. Welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to do a junk journal with me in my patchwork journal, and I've gathered loads of different collage elements and bits that I've sort of picked out from my stash. I've got my paper folder, I've got my box of scraps. I kind of just wanted to do a bit of collaging on these pages because with the nature of the patchwork pages, we've obviously got a little bit of a base built up, but I really wanted to add some more texture and kind of dimension with different elements. So these are kind of the few bits that I've picked out based on keeping things neutral still, because you guys will know by now that I absolutely love neutrals. And I'm just kind of gonna see how things go. I don't really have like a plan for this page or anything, but I'm just going to kind of see how the different elements that I've picked out might want to lend themselves to the page. So a lot of this is sometimes just kind of trial and error, like putting things down but not actually sticking them down and just seeing how they go. So yeah, like I said, I've got all sorts of different papers here. I think this might be a bit too yellow for this, but I'm thinking I might want to cover this white section because it's a little bit too stark for my liking with the tones that we've got going on this page. So I might glue down some of this beautiful ledger paper that I've got, and I think that'll help things to blend in a bit. So a lot of the times, if I don't really know what I want to do in my journals and things, like collaging and just sticking bits of paper down is honestly something that I turn to just a lot, just as kind of a way to have some fun with different papers, but there's no real like pressure or anything with making like a final piece. So this is almost probably going to be a bit like a background page. It might not even be like a finished journal page. It might just be something that I can still come back and work on, but I just kind of wanted to get more of a like layout of a page and a bit of a structure, but we'll see how we go. Maybe I will end up kind of finishing this page. I really don't know. I don't really have a plan, and for a lot of pages that I do, I don't really have an idea of what I'm gonna do other than maybe picking out a few bits. So for example, I have fussy cut this off camera because I really went in and did like loads of details with my like craft knife and things. So obviously that is kind of something that I've planned, but again, I don't know where it would go like specifically on a page, but most of the time it's just random and just seeing where things go. And you'll notice I'm like scrunching my papers a lot, and I feel like I'm doing this a lot lately just to kind of give some more texture to my pages. I hate things feeling really like flat, so I feel like if I just scrunch them up a bit, we get a little bit more of the texture. And if you've seen any of my videos before, you'll also know that I'm terrible with sticking things down and then wanting to peel them back up. So that's currently what I'm doing right now, because I've realized I want to have this piece underneath, and then I think it might work better as something like that. And then I'll just need to add a bit more glue on the top of, whoops, this page here. There we go, and that gives us a bit of more, I think, a bit more cohesion on the page like that. And then there's just a little gap, so maybe I'll come into my box of all sorts and just pull out a little scrap of paper perhaps. There's literally all sorts of things in here, like anything that's been on my desk, it tends to come here before I throw it away. So maybe something like that perhaps. I've also got in my folder here like a smaller bag that I keep little offcuts in and things like that. So maybe we'll find something in there that might work as well. So let's see. These are kind of like okay, but they're not that interesting as scraps. Let's see what's in here. I'm just gonna pull. Ooh, and I'm already seeing, see, this is literally just like paper that's been underneath something, as I've been like coffee dyeing or tea dyeing, and I just love the like coffee staining effect that you get on these papers. So thinking I might work with something like this, and if I put it this way then we won't see the harsh edge too much. So I'm just going to glue this down, and I'm probably going to maybe I'll overlap it slightly. Just move these out of the way. Oh my goodness, they're all falling everywhere. There we go, just pop that there for now. Yeah, just overlap that and just press that in, and then maybe come in with, let's see, maybe just a bit of this book page just to cover this join that we've got going on here. So if you're feeling like maybe your collages are feeling a little disjointed, then definitely take a look and see if you're covering like where papers join, because that's often where I find sometimes it's like a little bit of awkwardness if you've got like two pieces just kind of next to each other where they could be like overlapping or something. So for example, with this piece here, if I just had this like next to it, that would feel a little bit disjointed, whereas if I overlap it, then it kind of brings everything together. And I don't know which way, maybe I want to do it this way perhaps. There we go. And I'll just glue this strip down the side so I can kind of conceal that like join a bit and kind of pull things together on my page. I'm just going to lift that up slightly and then push that in there. This is like wallpaper, I think, so it's a little bit thicker, so I'm having to make sure that it's stuck down nicely on my page. And I'm just going to add some extra glue here because some of these bits didn't glue down properly. There we go. So I also brought out some of these like images, but I feel like they're a bit too kind of crisp for this sort of thing. Maybe these would need like distressing or something to kind of blend into pages like this a bit more. So yeah, maybe I'd have to like coffee dye them or something, or like put ink around the edges to make them blend in a little more with what I'm doing. I'm thinking I might put this flower here, but I don't know yet, so I'm just going to sort of leave it there for now and see what we think. I've also just got this random scrap of I think I'd made a journal and then I'd like ripped the pages out, but I didn't want to waste them, and I had like random tape on them and stuff, but I'm not sure if this is going to, there's too much like brown over here, I think. Yeah, we'll leave that for now. What else do we have? I also brought over like a tag maybe. Maybe I'll pull some more of this ledger paper onto this side, and then we can kind of join up the pages a bit more so that your eye is kind of drawn to both of them across the page. So we'll just go there. I think that's quite nice. What else do we have in this wonderful pile of papers? Let's see. Kind of want to add some like really small elements. There's some more like tea dyed bits and pieces, some darker book page perhaps. I don't know, I kind of just pull things out and then we kind of see from there where we want to go with things. There's also like scrap note paper, music paper. Let's see what else. These are all just book pages, like offcuts. Like this is literally things that you should just put in your recycling bin, but I hold on to everything. I don't know about you. You guys are probably the same as me, aren't you? One day you're just gonna lose me in a pile of papers, because there's so many bits and pieces that I just don't want to throw away. I just don't want to part with them because it might be like the perfect little piece that I need for something on one of my pages. So yeah, let me know if you're the same as me. But yeah, I'm just kind of picking out things that might fit, and like I said, I'm probably not going to use them all, but just sort of picking them out at this stage, and we can kind of decide whether to use them or not on the page. Again, just some more of this like scrap, like tea dyed paper. So yeah, I think that's all we want from that box there. So let's see what we have. Kind of want to start building up more like little clusters within my pages. So adding like smaller elements, because at the moment we've got quite a lot of like larger bits, and I kind of want to work in some more like little areas of interest where you've kind of got pockets of things happening and all little details and things like that. So let's see, I might just add some more of this here, and like this is pretty much like just plain like beige paper, but it's, you need to understand, it's like a slightly different color of neutral beige, so it's going to contrast nicely. It's ever so slightly a little bit lighter, so that should work nicely. And then I might put this piece underneath, and then I think I might come in with a little bit of washi to kind of pull this section together. And then I might just add a plain like white and grey grid washi tape, just so that we're not detracting from anything, but it's just adding like another little detail to that corner. And I don't want to add too much to it. I don't want to kind of overload it. Not so keen on that piece. Let's see, maybe some music sheet and the darker paper might be quite nice to add, or even the lined paper. Let's see what that looks like. So let's see, where else should we build? I feel like this section here kind of needs a bit of love. That's way too much contrast. So maybe we can work in some of this music paper. I kind of don't want to cover up too much of this interest here, so maybe I'll just add this as kind of a little bit of a strip like that, and then maybe just this piece underneath. And I think maybe I could add this tag like underneath to kind of ground this a bit more. There we go. Oh, that's quite nice. Don't know if I want the string or not. I'll leave it in there for now. So I think maybe something like that. And I also have this like note card that might be quite nice to add. Maybe it needs to be tea dyed. So I've just put down just a random scrap of paper, and it doesn't matter if the coffee is going to go over that anyway, because it'll just add some nice interest to it. And I'm just going to brush this over with my paintbrush, just because it will blend in a lot nicer with my page. So I'm just gonna pop this to one side for now so that it can dry. So I've also got my little strips of transparent like washi here, and I think this might be quite nice to add as a decorative element. So we've got just the brown one like on the craft paper, but I kind of want like a translucent element on this page, kind of like this little detail here. So perhaps that one. Not sure about that one. Let's see, what else do we have? Maybe this section. I do quite like the lace, and no, I don't think I want any of this. That's the nice thing about these, is you can kind of like make them, and then you'll find out kind of which different projects you want to use them with. So I'm thinking either like this tiny section, or maybe here, like that section, but that might be a bit too much. I might just add like a small bit here perhaps. And then that's just reminded me actually that it might be quite nice to add some like white dots and kind of continue the white dots that I'd made on the transparent washi, and kind of carry this out just as a little detail on the craft paper, because I love how white pen shows up really nicely on craft paper, and then it doesn't really show up on this wallpaper sample or too much, but I'll just carry it across just so that it kind of brings those together. Okay, so I'm liking how this layout is shaping up, and I'm not sure whether I want to maybe add some ink to the edge of this tag just so that it kind of stands out a little bit from what's behind it, especially as there's some like similar tones. So I'm just going to take the string out so I don't get any of this on there. And I know this isn't kind of made for doing this. You normally use like the fancy Tim Holtz situation, but I don't have that, so I'm just going to use this, and I only really want to put it on there quite lightly. Not too bothered about it kind of going all the way around, but it should just hopefully give, yeah, it's very, very subtle, but just a little bit of kind of clarity on the edges there between the different papers. And so I'm just going to put this string back in. I might end up taking this out because it'll kind of add like a probably an element to the page that'll get annoying, but we'll see, because I'm not going to be doing any like writing on this really, so it shouldn't matter too much, but we'll just pop it up there for now. And then I think that's a really nice element to go there, and then I'm imagining maybe that could be like where I could put like a little quote perhaps on this section here. So let's see, let's glue that down, let's commit to that, otherwise I'm going to start continually moving it around and not doing anything. So I'll stick this down. I just love how, oops, I don't love how I've pulled the leaf off, but I just love how when you add like an element like this over the top of a bunch of like collaged images, it really kind of brings things together. Okay, so when I just went to grab my pen, I just remembered that the lovely Kaylee Gray had sent me some happy mail a few weeks ago and had included a few of her like postcards that's from Get Messy. I've put one in my journal already, so I've got one kind of spare, and I think it might be really nice to kind of cut out this embossed like shiny lettering and add it to here. Or maybe I could include, now I kind of want to cut it out, and I don't feel too bad because I have already used one of these within my journal already, because she was kind enough to send a couple of these. And fussy cutting, I always find it's one of those things where it's super fiddly and time consuming, and like I always end up with like my hand hurting afterwards because I've kind of tried to cut so many like intricate detail things. But I just think that the result that you get is really worth it. So I quite like having things fussy cut for that reason. I just think that they really like stand out on my page, and sometimes I'll just do it from like watching TV or things. Okay, so I'm just fiddling here because I can't decide which position I want to put this in. Possibly off to the side. I kind of wanted to put it there, but then I feel like it kind of covers the flower, but maybe that's okay. You can still see one here. Maybe if I come down slightly, then you can still see it. Maybe there. That might be quite nice. I think it needs something like under here. Let's see, maybe some more of this ledger paper. It doesn't need a lot, but I just think it needs something to kind of hold it in its place. So, whoops, let's turn it around. Just like that maybe. Okay, so I think I'm going to stick it about there. It's kind of more towards the right hand side of the page, but I think it works there. And then maybe a little bit of washi tape even might work for this, if I can find the end of the washi tape. So let's see, maybe like under here. And I think with this patchwork journal, a lot of this is probably going to be me kind of working on it in stages. So like the first kind of element that I added was like this section here, and we added a bit of paint, but this is by no means finished. Like I'd really love to, you know, add more elements to this. Okay, so now that this like little tag has pretty much dried, it's still a little bit wet, but it's got a nice like detail of the staining there. I think I might add it here perhaps. I just feel like this section at the minute kind of feels a little bit lost with everything. So maybe if I added something like this could then be a spot to add like some writing, or even just as a frame for something, you know, on my page. So I'm just going to glue this section down. I think for now I'm quite pleased with how this has come together, and I love this element on this side of the page. Maybe I could add a few little dots as a detail, but again, I kind of want to work on this journal a lot in like different phases, so like different elements and things like that. So I think for today that is everything that I'm going to do. I hope you've enjoyed seeing me working in this journal. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you guys next week. Bye guys.